What if I told you the modern world wasn't born in a laboratory or a corporate boardroom? It was forged in coal mines, cotton mills, and crowded port cities. The Industrial Revolution didn't just happen. It was triggered by a perfect collision of geography, money, innovation, and human ambition. Welcome to History Unfolded. Today, we're breaking down the real causes of the Industrial Revolution and why this 18th century explosion of progress still shapes your daily life. Before machines could run, people had to be free to work them. In the early 1700s, Britain quietly underwent an agricultural revolution. Farmers abandoned the inefficient open field system and adopted crop rotation, selective livestock breeding, and precision tools like Jethro Tull's seed drill. But the real game changer, the enclosure movement. Common lands were legally fenced off and consolidated into larger privately managed farms. The result? Crop yields skyrocketed, famines decreased, population boomed. And here's the crucial part. Fewer farmers were needed to feed more people. Thousands of rural workers, suddenly without land, migrated to towns looking for work. That surplus labor force became the human engine of the Industrial Revolution. You can't run factories on ambition alone. You need power. And Britain was sitting on a geological goldmine. Easily accessible coal deposits sat just beneath the surface, especially in regions like Yorkshire, Lancashire, and Wales. Coal wasn't just fuel. It was portable, abundant, and cheap. Paired with rich iron ore, it created the perfect recipe for machinery, rails, and eventually steam engines. But coal alone wasn't enough. Britain's geography gave it another massive advantage: navigable rivers, natural deep water harbors, and no major internal borders or tolls. Goods could move cheaply from mine to port to market. While other European nations dealt with fragmented toll systems, mountain barriers, and poor infrastructure, Britain had a built-in transportation network. Energy plus mobility equals industrial scalability. Innovation requires investment. And in 18th century Britain, capital was flowing. Centuries of maritime trade, colonial expansion, and the rise of modern banking created a wealthy merchant class. Joint stock companies, insurance markets, and the Bank of England meant entrepreneurs could secure loans to fund risky new ventures. Britain's global network also provided two critical things: raw materials and captive markets. Cotton from the Americas, timber from Canada, sugar and tea from the colonies, all fed British factories. And when those factories produced textiles, tools, and iron goods, they had a worldwide customer base ready to buy. This wasn't just industrialization. It was industrialization running on a global supply chain. Technology doesn't invent itself. It thrives in environments that reward it. Britain's legal system protected intellectual property through the patent system, giving inventors like James Watt, Richard Arkwright, and Samuel Crompton the confidence to invest years into mechanical breakthroughs. But beyond patents, there was a cultural shift, the Enlightenment ideal that nature could be understood, measured, and improved. Scientific societies, practical engineering guilds, and a growing literate middle class turned experimentation into an industry. Unlike aristocratic societies that valued tradition over progress, Britain's emerging capitalist culture celebrated efficiency, competition, and upward mobility. The tinkerer wasn't looked down upon. He was funded. None of these factors alone would have sparked an industrial revolution. It was their intersection that changed history. Surplus labor plus cheap coal plus global capital plus legal protection for inventors equals the birth of the factory system. Water frames gave way to steam power. Handlooms were replaced by mechanized mills. The cottage economy collapsed, and urban centers like Manchester and Birmingham exploded into industrial hubs. And while it began in Britain, this exact blueprint soon crossed the Atlantic. By the 1820s and 1830s, American entrepreneurs adopted the same model, fueling New England textile mills, Pennsylvania steel, and eventually the railroad boom that built a continental economy. The Industrial Revolution wasn't a single invention. It was a chain reaction. A farming breakthrough freed hands, coal-powered machines, trade-funded risk, and a culture that rewarded progress turned ideas into infrastructure. Today, when you drive a car, use a smartphone, or live in a city powered by electricity, you're living in the world those causes built. This is history unfolded. If you want more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape the modern world, hit subscribe. Drop a comment below with the next historical turning point you want us to explore. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about why it happened. And those answers are still unfolding. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.